Alrighty, I am mostly just doing this just because I'm bored and wanted to try this. But I figured I'd go and, with some really jank shenanigans, stream some Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Just because why not? So I actually never did play the first Explorers. So, yeah, there's not really a lot I can kind of. I actually have terrible study habits, but that's just because I don't really need to study like 9 times out of 10. Yeah, I'm broke like that. So fun fact, I'm actually going to be touching my computer screen here when I do this, just because you know, because I'm a fucking nerd. I had a DS that was like really messed up, and like it had this really weird thing happen with the screen. So like doing this part was like nearly impossible when I first played, because it would get like feedback from something. I don't even know like what. It's like this like little blemish on the screen, and it made like playing some games like absolutely impossible. Oh, this is fine. This is fine. Well, I feel like there's only one actual option here. Actually, no. I'm gonna go with Shinx because I've never used Shinx before here. I don't actually know. I unfortunately Shinx is male, right? Yeah, we're just gonna do this then. Um, yeah. I have some confidence with this. Oh, you guys can just ignore all of this that's going on over here with the computer mouse. I didn't turn that thing off, and at this point, I think it might be fun just to leave it. This is nowhere close to like my first time playing the game, so I'm gonna be like heavily discussing like spoilers and stuff. So this is just kind of more of a somebody who's very experienced with. Hold on, can I actually? Let me actually try to hide something real quick. Um, what happens if I turn that off? Hold on, ah, found it. Let's turn that bad boy off. There we go. Oh, I also am realizing I just fixed the stream picking up weird stuff. Alrighty, so yeah, I've played this game several times. The last physical copy I got disappeared into the ether immediately after starting the game, which is really weird and unfortunate. But my first time playing this game was with a Turtwig, and I believe I picked Riolu as partner. Yes. So beating Darkrai took absolutely forever, like way longer than it should have. That fight's just way more difficult than it really needs to be, in my opinion. Um, Second time playing, I was a Torchic, if I remember correctly, and then I did an Empoleon playthrough once. And then I believe those are the two current playthroughs I have because I have two copies of the game. I have a I'm an Empoleon with a Blaziken, and then I'm a Blaziken with a Lucario playthrough. Oh boy, I remember the first time I played, like trying to evolve Lucario took forever. Oh my goodness, it was oof. It took me absolutely forever to get the Sun Ribbon because it's a really difficult item to get just for no reason other than excuse me, for no reason other than RNG is just like stupid, unreliable. Ah, this music, it's so good. You know, honestly, this game is so ahead of its time. The music is just absolutely phenomenal, which I'm pretty sure everybody is tired of hearing. The visuals are also like absolutely beautiful for, you know, a Nintendo DS game. Hold on, let me actually like check something. Ah, okay, that was a lot easier to fix than I thought it was. uh, I have like the YouTube tab open in the back, so it's great just seeing that like all of a sudden all the cursors just disappear from the stream. But yeah, I honestly kind of want like I wish I could get the chance to talk with the dev team for this and just be like, you know, how were you guys able to like do everything you did on, you know, this on the DS cuz the DS isn't exactly the most powerful of like video game hardware. Like even by like it was really powerful at the time, but it's still like it had a lot of limits. And then it was also neat being able to see all the stuff they were able to do on the what do you call it? On the 3DS. Ooh, hold on. I have to think of a good name. But yeah, that's honestly one of my favorite parts of Gates was like playing Gates for the first time and having it be, you know, fully 3D and then there being like actual like pre-rendered cutscenes that they were able to take more advantage of in Super with honestly, I would place Super on the same level as Explorers and I know I'm like the only person who would like think that. It's just I had a lot more fun with Super than most other people. I'm also one of the few people who didn't constantly hold Gates to the same standards as Explorers. So, like, I wasn't going into Super with already low expectations. I was like, well, it's going to improve off of Gates, and that's all I can really hope for. Hmm. I can't think of a good name, and if I actually had a chat going right now, I would ask chat to nickname him for me. It says one concurrent viewer. I does concurrent mean I have one person watching right now, or one person has been watching, or is that one concurrent viewer me? Well, if there is a viewer, like, go ahead and give me a nickname. 'Cause I'm probably just gonna, when I have the time, just stream this a little bit, just to give me an excuse to play the game again. And then, also just have something to do. Alrighty, I have... Hold on one second. Okay, so yeah, what I was planning on going with. Alright, hold on, let me clean out some tabs that I don't need anymore. Oh, I already had that tab open. Okay, I'm dumb. Alrighty, we're gonna put that tab back up, summon that back, summon this back. Alright, cool. So the name I was going to want to do, I didn't, like, off the top of my head remember that this was exactly Latin for fire, but, you know, because if... Hold on, I need to check something. Huh. Hold on, let me check something real quick. Yeah, okay, cool. I accidentally did a thing. Wait, no, I need to check. Sorry, I have Google Translate pulled up right now, making sure that I'm... What? What? Hold on. Hold on. Let me... What is Lumen again? Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just very dumb. Alright, cool. So we have Light the Luxray and Fire the Chimchar, but in Latin, so it sounds more impressive. Man, this is a scene I have seen so many times, and it never stops making me angry. That and Apple Woods. Like, every time I get to Apple Woods, I'm like, can I just skip this part? Because it just makes me so angry. It is nice seeing them get their comeuppance later, but it still, you spend so much of the game just wanting to beat the absolute tar out of them. Hey, if I remember correctly, you never actually get the chance to actually fight, what's his name? Skunk Tank. Ooh, okay. What what button did I set LNR to? Okay, this might be very annoying. Okay, so Q and X. That's cool. I'm also forgetting literally the most important thing. I was gonna turn that off. That. We're gonna keep that on. We're gonna turn that to the not like terribly slow. Keep that on. We're gonna keep that off. We're gonna keep that off, and there we go. It took me forever to like learn that I can actually change like what shows up on the top screen, and it was like literally I saw this like the it shows the party members. It was like I saw that in the official strategy guide for Explores the Sky, which I have, and it's the size of a phone book. And it's and I saw that like, oh, you could do that, and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. And then I figured out like, oh, okay, cool, that's how I do that. I was trying to get a randomizer program for this like running, but unfortunately it just says, "Oh, you need like this attachment for like Visual Studio to run," and then like not like how to run it. Like, do I need to open it in Visual Studio? Do I need to open the program by itself? And it was just like it was very unclear, and I couldn't get it figured out. So I just was forced to kind of be like, whatever, I'm not gonna do. Oh, and I was just kind of like, whatever, I'm just not gonna have the randomizer be going. So one very interesting change that oh hi, you know what? I'm gonna do a little bit more exploring just for extra EXP. So one very interesting change that happened in this game is that held items no longer are their own like inventory slot. So if you give a Pokemon an item, it's still in like it's still counts towards your inventory. Whereas in Rescue Team, it was like you had the like base 20 toolbox, but if you gave anything to any of your team members, they would like it wouldn't count towards it wouldn't count towards the limit. So like you'd have 22 technically if you had like two party members, 23, 24. So like you can do some inventory management with that, and it also helps because you don't have like held items taking up those precious inventory slots because you only have 20. And I forgot how difficult Rescue Team is when you only have 20 items. I also forgot that Shinx just casually starts with Quick Attack. That helps like everything. But yeah, it's a thing that like always kind of bothers me, even though like it probably shouldn't, because it's like we get 48 inventory slots here, which is a lot, and it like once you get used to it, like going into this game from Explorers or from Rescue Team, it was like, oh my goodness, there's like so many. That doesn't increase HP in this game, huh? I'm also really used to how Super runs a lot of stuff because I've been that's been the last like actual game that I've played and actually done like a considerable amount of stuff with as far as Mystery Dungeon's concerned. But yeah, going from like Rescue Team into this game, it was just like, wow, there's so much more inventory space. And then you get used to it, and you get used to, having 48 slots. So you have, a page full of Reviver Seeds, you have like a couple Oran Berries, you have some apples, you have some throwing items, you have everyone's equipment. You can bring exclusive items if you want to like really help out, because some of those get broken. Some of those get stupidly broken, in fact. But yeah, you just kind of like bring a lot of stuff, and you never really think about like you never really like worry about the inventory space too much. And then you go back to Rescue Team, and you're just kind of like, well, okay then. I have like no inventory slots. How am I gonna be able to do anything? All right, we're just gonna do this. Yeah, let's just accidentally kill myself. We're just gonna do that just because I can. Haha, this is significantly easier than I remember it being. Man, I remember just first boss of the series being a Skarmory that's in like the third dungeon, and it being like, God, like doing that dungeon for the first time, it was so hard. It was like, oh, there's like 9 floors. Oh, are there not? Is Mount Steel 7 or 9 floors? It's been forever. I think it's only 7 actually. Yeah, because Tiny Woods is 3, Thunderwave Cave is like 5. No, so it'd be 9, yeah. And it's just thinking like that was like so difficult, and then Silent Chasm, it's like, oh, there's like over 10 floors. Wow, it's so hard. And those are still like the baby dungeons that I now like breeze through. And then you get Mount Thunder, and you have an actual boss, like an actual boss, because Skarmory's not that strong, but Zapdos is a legendary. Also, I want to point out that base stats mean nothing in this game. Like you saw the like the stat growth when we leveled up. It was like a 3 in HP and a 2 in like everything else. That stops being normal. There's like no EVs or IVs or anything. It's just they have starting stats, and then up until I don't know what level, they will just get like that 3 in HP and 2 in stats, and they start getting less as like the game progresses until you get to the point where you're only getting like 1 point in like a handful of stats, like not even across the board. It's just like my HP went up by 1 and my attack and special attack went up by 1. I've literally had a level up where it was like HP went up by like 1 and then like attack went up by 1. And the stats also actually have a hard cap of 255. I forgot where I learned that, but I learned that in one of them, in one of the games. So they actually cap you at like, 255 for every stat. And you can easily boost to that with gummies and or gummies in this game if you use them at Spinda's bar, which is like the real smart strat for racing IQ, because you get a free stat boost on top of the IQ boost, as well as you can like have all the like positive effects. So there's a lot of like hidden content in this game that like the game either doesn't tell you or it's just like really rare and you'll like never discover it on your own. But yeah, so like between the vitamins and gummies, you can end up you can just end up boosting like all of your stats to 255. And at that point, you've like long since surpassed the point where anything can kill you, so it's like yeah, sure, why not? What is this option? I really like so if we got a mystery dungeon game to the Switch, the biggest wish I would have for it would be like having the dialogue options actually mean stuff and being able to give you dialogue options that would, actually like have, actually do something and like actually like let you actually have an impact on the story cuz like for the most part it's and I understand that this is, silent protagonist of like 101 is you never get to have an actual impact on like the dialogue or the plot. You just are a vessel in which you will experience the plot. And that's why I've always preferred like a lot more JRPGs to like Western RPGs because they tend to actually like you are a defined character and you're playing as a defined character who actually has an impact and has some agency in the plot. Like off the top of my head, I look over to my shelf. I probably shouldn't list Final Fantasy 12 because that's like the worst example from the series. But like you understand what I mean. We will be seeing this much, much, much later. The specific location. But yeah, there's like dot hack. I forgot I have that. Star Ocean 5, I guess. Tales of Berseria, World of Final Fantasy, Tales of Vesperia, Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, the one with the noodles. It's like, those games, you're not just like, you're an actual character that has personality and has like, agency in the plot, and they can actually do stuff. And like, I prefer that over the I get to play how I want. I get to make my character how I want. I get to, be a jerk. I get to be super nice, goody two shoes. And then just like having it be like where the character doesn't feel like their character and doesn't feel like they exist. The only like Western RPG or the only like blank slate protagonist game I've ever played that's like that actually feels like it pulls it off is Mass Effect. And that's because you're still kind of locked into like the role. Like you are Shepard, you are Commander Shepard. you are going to be the hero. You are going to be, stopping the Reapers, and you're gonna be, yeah, like, whether you like it or not, you have to be the good guy, or you have to be the protagonist. You can't be a villain. However, that doesn't mean you have to be a good person. So, you can actually, be a jerk. You can be nice, and it's like it'll actually affect every, like, how the people treat you for the most part. So it's like that's the only one I like, because it's also like voice acting is the thing. Like, I understand that you're supposed to like be able to fill in your own voice whenever you say lines, but it always makes it like it wrecks my immersion, because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm a character that's here. I feel like I'm just, I am a spectator while the plot happens around me, and that's not really good for specific games like Persona 5, for example, where it's supposed to be the main character's story, and everything hypes him up as, hypes Joker up as the big good man. He's, the main character, but it doesn't feel like he really exists in the game, kind of. It feels more like everything else is happening and he's just kind of a bystander, even though he's supposed to be the one canonically calling all the shots and being the big man. So, having a Mystery Dungeon game for the Switch, I would really hope that you actually get to, be a character, and you'll actually have spoken lines of dialogue. Because I think there's very few lines of actual dialogue in the entire series spoken from the main character. That's not just like the little kind of like, you do your walking animation as you're like explaining stuff to people. But like actual like will show up in, you can't see the cursor, but I'm like highlight trying to highlight like the text box. It's like there's not a lot of actual like moments in which the character, has their character portrait show up, and they will, have lines of dialogue in this that's not like in parentheses, because it's their thoughts, and it's almost always at the end of the game. So it'd be really neat to, be able to have that where you can, just casually have some conversations and stuff. And I understand why they can't do that. Like, because, I have a degree in game design. I understand you can't just have that be there and just have it kind of be a thing. It's like you need to actually program for it. Hold on one second. But yeah, so it's like they would need to actually like program for the like every single response, and like how that would like factor in. And it's like, oh, this character remembers that you said this thing all this while ago, so we have to have this like, oh, like this variable for like, did you pick this dialogue option? Yes. Like, okay, cool, so have it play this line of dialogue instead. And like that's a lot of time, and that's a lot of like, money, because it's not necessarily hard to program. It just ends up being a giant hassle, because you're having to keep track of a wide variety of variables and a wide variety of scenarios, and you have to keep track of so absolute much in order to like have it actually work. And unfortunately, like, not a lot of companies are able to do that, and if they are, they have to cut like so many corners everywhere else. So it's just like that's something that I'm like, maybe like an actual like intelligent AI that would be able to, like respond to your dialogue choices would be able to do, but like I feel like we'd be wasting that just having it handle dialogue in, a video game, where each playthrough would be completely different, because you'd be able to say like slightly different things, or just completely different things, and it, just change drastically. Or even if you had the exact same responses, it would just like grow slightly differently. I don't know. It'd be neat, but that's also something that like is not feasibly possible right now. That we probably should not spend time and resources and money on. But yeah, no, just at the very least, be able to have some casual conversation with your friends. Because the whole thing with, like, the personality test is that, as it said, at the beginning, like, based on how I answered the questions, I got a naive personality. So, you already have a personality for the main character right there when you assign them their Pokemon. And you could also you could keep it to where partner actually is set like actual character, or you could also have it be like the partner's personality is also dependent on what Pokemon they are, because they have this big chart of like what you will get, which is a thing that I don't have the strategy guide on hand because it's back at my other house in Kansas. So you have the like, oh, like for all the males, like this personality type is this, and then for the females, this personality type is this, and you're actually able to have all of that, of like we know like what these characters are supposed to be like, and if you're answering the personality test truthfully, the personality type's going to match up like somewhat with you know it's going to match up somewhat with you as a person if you answer it truthfully. Granted, the test is like very very like not really that good, because it's a lot of like generalizing, and you can't generalize personality types down to like just like, oh, you're naive, you're calm, you're brave, you're this, and then like that's like your entire personality. It's a lot more nuanced than that. But for the purposes of this game, like why not? Why not? Just go ahead and do it, because that would be neat. You'd be able to have all the characters feeling like actual characters. You'd be able to have spoken lines of dialogue, maybe change up some scenarios. So I don't know. It'd be neat. Like nothing that would be big, but it would just be like a specific scenario would play out much differently based on what hero you are and what partner you are. And that'd just be a neat idea to toy with. Alrighty, well, this was mostly a test stream, and I kind of wanted to test out OBS and how well I could record this, so now that I know, I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and when I pick up streaming again, when I, play on this file again, I'm going to stream it again, and I'm just going to kind of stream a Let's Play of this game. Alrighty, if anybody's watching this, thank you for listening to me ramble about stuff and have some very incorrect takes on video games, and have a good one.